to hear. Drink a good deal of it, make a good meal of it, stick to your old-fashioned beer. Now don't be afraid of it, drink till you're made of it. Now all together a cheer.
Hey there, drinking buddies. It's Mark McDermott once again, your one-take beer reviewer and the Beeronaut at beeronaut.com. And normally I have been usually doing a lot of the more nationally available brands of beer because that's what most people are going to be searching for information on, which means a little more clicky for me. That's the theory anyway. But this one is a local one that is only out for a limited time, so I wanted to get my impressions on it. It is a collaboration brew with Cleetus Friedman, who is the master chef at a Chicago gastro pub called called the Fountainhead. It almost slipped me for a moment, and who is soon to be opening and preparing menus for Chicago's first cider bar to be called the Northman. And he has done a number of collaborations with different brewers around the Chicago area and even in the region, most of them food-based. So I thought it'd be a good idea to slip this one in along with an interview I just did with him that is exclusively on ChicagoScene.com. And this is a collaboration with Two Brothers Brewing Company called Cabinet of Curiosities. I'll probably try to get a better photo than this. It is done with part of the proceeds going to the Field Museum. This is the second beer that has been done as a fundraiser for Chicago's fabulous Field Museum. So Cabinet of Curiosities, that's of course the old nickname for museums. And what this one is a white India Pale Ale, meaning it's Belgian style yeast, possibly some of the Belgian wheat malt, which is used to make a white beer or wit, and of course being an American idea, it just has a ton of hops in it. Let me see if I can quickly see what the hops are. Well, I didn't write that one down. That's why it's all one take here around here. But it is also brewed with orange peel and coriander. So typically Belgian spiced ale with an American hop load. Let's give it a try and see if you can still find one out in your neck of the woods. And since it is an IPA and a Belgian style, we can use the IPA tulip kind of glass. Try to get a nice pour without a head this time. That's looking better. So it still kicks up a nice foamy head. Probably unfiltered, so there might be some bits in here to do nucleation against. Just slightly cloudy and yellow, kind of amberish, like an India Pale Ale is. Let's see if the automatic zoom will capture any of that. Probably not. Still kicks up a nice head of foam. And I'm getting a little bit of the coriander and some of the hop. There was a little bit more hop to it when I popped the lid here. That has a very definite spicy texture to it. Not overly sweet like a lot of Belgian beers. Instead, it focuses on the dry side of an India Pale Ale. Has a nice hop load to it. I'm going to say it is more Pacific Northwest. I'm going to suppose Cascades are involved here. That's your default if it just tastes nice and hoppy as Cascades. I just had this in the fridge long enough for it to get to a decent cool. So it's kind of bringing up a lot more. There is malt hiding in there, but it is mostly the spices that are coming through. And some of that spice can come from wheat malt as well. But yes, definitely the coriander. And can't catch much citrus if there is, looking at the screen again, alleged to be orange peel here. It is very much bark spices or nut spices like coriander. But again, that's a nice note that could be coming from the Belgian yeast that is usually used in this style. So very spicy, more than malty. Hops are there, but just not as loud as you would expect in an IPA. So it's a very nice go with for foods. If you can find some, I would definitely recommend you go find some and try it out. Oh, and in the interest of disclosure, the PR firm for Cleetus, or for Two Brothers, I forget which one, but they sent me a couple of these samples so I could talk about them when I write up my interview with Mr. Friedman. But I've enjoyed a couple of his other collaborations, and this is just as good as any of them, and if it's still out there, well worth seeking out. So cheers once again. That is the Two Brothers Cabinet of Curiosities, a collaboration with Chef Cleetus Friedman, done as a fundraiser for Chicago's Field Museum. Maybe it's still available at the museum, so go try some out.
Now don't be afraid of it. Drink till you're made of it. Now all together a cheer.
There's that, and enjoy the